Crank it way up, way up.
Coming soon to this theater.
Hey, space freaks! Welcome to the spaceship Vertigo, whose 5-year mission is to seek out new life, have it baptized, teach it table manners, and find a creature who doesn't have to phone home. Ace Starfleet Commander J. Jameson will give you a first-hand look at what space adventure is all about.
Never a moment's rest.
You'll be getting plenty of help from First Mate Rosinski.
8, 14, 7,
33
6,
and a third.
5.
11,
Joining them are Morale Officer Annie McHugh.
Hey, nice bod.
Ship's Dr. Stark. He's Stark Raven Man.
I need this organism. They'll have to call it the Stark organism.
It was John who did discover the organism.
They're gonna call it the John organism.
And Captain Chef John. If you really want to get your rockets off,
I have to go to the bathroom, but I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl.
take a ride on the only rockin', rippin' spaceship in the universe.
Oh.
Find out what 9 out of 10 alien creatures want for dessert.
I want to eat your face.
We don't want this piece of snot on board our spaceship.
It could just be so yummy. I like to have your face in my tummy.
This creature means no harm. Oh!
Remember, in Spaceship, everyone can hear you scream. Spaceship, void were prohibited. See it, or we'll have to make a sequel.
Mankind has conquered the stars. He moves out to the endless interstellar reaches of the universe. An advanced exploration corps, a new breed of pioneer, must seek out unstable planets and destroy them.
Hyperdrive sequence begun. Hit it, Pinback.
And you are on the mission of the 21st century planet smashers. Dark Star. 20 years in space, 1 million light years from Earth. Their job is to clear a path for the colonization of space.
Back home in Malibu. I used to surf a lot, Talby. I used to be a great surfer.
Travel in an infinite universe with mind-melting excitement from beyond the stars.
Computer to bomb number 20. Return to the bomb bay immediately.
But I have received the operational signal.
Hello, Bob? Are you with me?
I wish I had more time.
Why don't you have more time?
Because I must detonate. I must detonate.
Commander Powell. Commander Powell, this is Doolittle. Can you hear me?
Man? What happened, man?
Hey.
Confirm. Power drive sequence activated. Roger, retracted. Block all defensive systems.
Dark Star. They are not lost in space. They are loose.
Dark Star, man.
Yeah.
Hey. That's one of our features next week with AC Nicholas rejoining the program. The other movie that we're doing is Spaceship, a.k.a. a whole bunch of other stuff.
A Creature Who Wasn't Nice. That's the one I know it is.
Naked Space, etc., etc.
What'd you think about our friend Nurse Sherri?
She should have been gone. Knowing how they made her feel.
I liked it. I thought it was Nurse Sherry's very confused about what kind of movie it wants to be.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of, I kind of like the way that they're just like, oh, you know, let's throw in a scene where the guy's getting a blowjob at a podium because, yeah, I don't know, it worked in police academy or whatever, you know, and they'll just like, you know, I don't know. It's just funny that they'll just kind of just throw in like, you know, and then there's like a love story between like the nurse and like that ex-football player or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. It's a very confused movie.
I didn't mention the many alternate titles of it, Bill. The Possession of Nurse Sherri, Black Voodoo, Beyond the Living, Hospital of Terror, Killer's Curse, or Hands of Death. None of these are better titles. I guess Nurse Sherri is probably the best title, right?
I couldn't find it playing anywhere under any of those alternate titles. I know there was one. It played on TV as one of the crazy titles, like Beyond the Living, I think, was the TV title.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good title. That's a good title. But I like Nurse Sherri. It's like, oh, cool. Like it doesn't like what's it about? Hey, you're seeing some Despiser footage on the bottom right here, though, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Don't forget, order quick from Diabolic. You can get a toy that Bill and I suggested, a troll doll. If you see the movie, it makes a lot. There's a possessed troll doll that lives in the guy's car that keeps trying to fuck with him, which is amazing.
Yeah, so go get it.
Yeah.
Diabolic DVD.
Yeah. Yeah. Philip says my wife is a nurse and I hope she's not doing that while at work. Oh no, Philip. I hope not.
From having worked in a hospital, I don't get like the whole, I mean, I can see where people would think stewardesses would be sexy or whatever, but nurses are just extremely capable. Like they're not fucking around. Like they don't have sex with their patients. They're usually not very good looking. Like they're overworked. They're working like 15-hour days. Like the idea that being a nurse is like this sexy job that like cute girls get while they're waiting to marry a millionaire is just ludicrous.
Like an airline
or they're involved in social work and, you know what I mean? And their boyfriend is in the Black Panthers, like other Roger Corman movies.
Yeah, or like Coffee. Wasn't that in Coffee? Like
yeah.
Oh, I love Coffee. You had to go and mention Coffee.
I like when these movies are like, this is my favorite student/nurse trope is like, yeah, we really want to be about issues and be up with and very women positive, but also we're going to show as many boobs as we can in the movie. So it's like you're going to get your cake and you're going to try to eat it too, but it's not going to taste right.
Did they ever?
Yeah, like that whole weird scene, like it was like a flashback in a flashback or something where she's like, after they're in bed and she's like, oh, I'll tell you a funny story about how my friend got all lesy with me when we were sunbathing or whatever. It's like...
Yeah, what was up with that?
I can tell you exactly what was up with it. The foreign investors said, we would love to see a lesbian scene in this if we're going to buy it.
See, that's what I think is so funny is like, I love the way he would just shoehorn this stuff in and just not apologize for it. Like, okay, well, we need a funny, zany sex comedy scene with the guy getting blown. We need a lesbian scene. We need a black sex scene. We need a white sex scene. Like, and he'll just throw it in. And then he's like, oh, and we'll make a possession movie.
Can we have a man sweating in a bed with his eyes taped shut for most of the movie? We need that too.
So he was kind of gross. That nurse was like way too sexy for him.
But wasn't he like a celebrity? He was like a football player.
A football player, yeah. He sweats for a living, baby.
You know what's funny is Marilyn Joy was like 3 or 4 years after this played a high school cheerleader in Cheerleaders Wild Weekend. And I'm like, what is she, like 30?
Yeah.
Like,
you don't like 30-something teenagers, Mike? That's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah, it was funny. It was like, they didn't even make them college cheerleaders in that other movie. They made them high school cheerleaders. And I'm like, you don't have anyone in this movie who's under 26. Like, don't.
They were like cast of Grease high schoolers.
Right. Dude, I was doing the math. I remember I was really shocked to find out that Stockard Channing was so old when she made Grease that she was actually old enough to, she was like 14 in 1960 or something. So it was like, she's actually old enough to have been a teenager during the era that she's playing a teenager.
But Carol Monroe's 37 in, what do you call it?
Slaughter High.
Slaughter High, yeah. And she's supposed to be
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, there's a flashback where she's in school. I get that, but like she's only supposed to be like 20 or 21. Yeah, and I agree with Jenny. The nurses take off their clothes in the same weird way. Those back zipper dresses. You do need help. That's what happens.
Ah. Got a nasty surprise from my pineapple juice.
Oh, no.
What did it spill?
Yeah. It had a deformed can. And I was too stupid to realize that means a deformed entire process.
Oh, no. Mike, you do like medical billing and stuff. Could you imagine the coding that would have to come out of this when they're all done? When you had to write everything, you're like, how do we write off a possession?
Yeah. You'd have to sort of push things together, and you'd code for everything, so it would be like possession, meat cleaver gripping fee, stuff.
Yeah, there's so many different things. And like the HIPAA stuff, they're like, well, we can't tell anybody that she was possessed. So she just had some personal problems.
And what were they worried also about, like if they could get those two nurses like off the hook for having vandalized that guy's grave or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the hospital had influence over something like that. The hospital hush it up.
Yeah. Hey guys, we know that 2 of our nurses have defaced a grave, but we do a lot for the community.
Right.
Don't tell anybody about any of this, but she was possessed.
Yeah. Do there was that cult in the desert where that guy was like trying to bring a dead body back from the dead, and he had a heart attack and he was diabetic. Yeah. Well, he died in our hospital. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, it's okay. He possessed one of our nurses and she killed a bunch of people. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, like what were the repercussions for her? That's what I want to know, because they knew that she had murdered people.
Yeah.
And their explanation for this was another patient's psychic understanding of what was actually happening there. They're just going to accept all of this.
Yeah.
Did you sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Keep talking.
Well, I mean, other people knew about this. There was complicity.
Oh, well, they would just say she was crazy because she was wearing that straitjacket.
Yeah. I agree with Jenny. The football star is a voodoo expert. What good luck to have him in the hospital. What would they have done if he was like it's like it's a movie.
Yeah, well, I guess he was also Haitian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really way over the line. I'm like, he's also Haitian.
Yeah.
It was in the script.
Yeah. They're like, how do we solve this? What if the football player, because we need a black sex scene, and what if one of the black people knows voodoo? Oh, that's totally not racist or anything. Like, that.
Well,
because all black people know voodoo.
Well, it's also sort of like how in movies, like if there's ever anything like super, like the only person, like in Devil Dog, I think it was Devil Dog. It was like the Mexican maid is the only one who knows that it's like the dog is possessed or whatever, because she's like this Catholic, and
it gets her too, doesn't it?
Yeah, he gets her. Yeah.
Yeah, it sets her on fire.
Yeah, there's always like somebody that's like knows the old ways, or is from somewhere else, and it's like they're like, oh, my grandpappy dealt with this back in the bayou. I don't know. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it was bugging me forever to figure out where that music was from, and I looked it up on IMDb, and it's from The Outer Limits. And I was like, that's why it sounds so sci-fi.
And you said some of it's from Blood and Lace too, that they
because Blood and Lace use that. Yeah, because when they would do like when they would do music for like Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits or whatever, the network would try to make as much money off of it as possible. So they then put the music for in their licensing library, and they're like, oh, So that's how, like, Kingdom of the Spiders and the Grim Reaper ended up with a Jerry Goldsmith score because they got his music from the Twilight Zone. And so
I got very excited to hear the Blood and Lace music in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a college for a while, and like they would never give us money for music for the commercials, so we would have to just get the cheapest stock music. And I remember like the head of the college brought me in his office and he goes, "I just heard a commercial with our song in it." And I'm like, "That's not our song. That was a $200 song that we have the rights for to use in one commercial. Like if you want to have a song, here's what it costs." And he goes, "Well, I just don't want people copying our song." And I was like, "Okay, let me explain to you again how library music works."
This was a great moment.
Yeah. I mean, so if you licensed a song
mm-hmm.
If you were a company and you licensed a song and it became so synonymous with your brand that you didn't want anyone else to license it, could you get in touch with the music licensing company and say, "Can we buy this song out?"
Yeah, you do like a complete buyout, which is really expensive. When we were working for Rite Aid, God, I can't remember what song it was. It was like a 90s kind of song, and like originally they were like the first asking price was low for the full buyout. It was like 50,000, and like they're like, "That's cool. We'll record a version like it," which is always a bad idea because you've already asked for the rights, so they're going to be listening to see if you copy it. And they're like, "That's our song," so it ended up costing like a couple $100,000 to get this song.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's like,
Yikes.
but if you really like a song, then it's. I talked about it on the Bruno Mattei episode of my podcast. Like a lot of the music in his last few movies is all library music, and it's same music that like WCW wrestling used and Kids in the Hall used it too. And it's like it was just there. Do you know what I mean? Goldberg's music is in one of Bruno's movies. Like when it's very stirring and dramatic. And but yeah, it's just weird to hear because you're like, "Oh, well, that's his music." No, it's just library music that they bought and they paid probably $250 for use. It also depends on how many markets you're in, etc.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah.
It's
just easier to get someone to record music for you and you own it.
Because all those like KPM tracks and stuff were all on like SCTV and commercials at like the exact same time. And
yeah, but that's the problem then. If because there's a really famous, in Pittsburgh, but the Century 3 Chevrolet song is the Century 3 Chevrolet
Pittsburgh.
I've been watching TV commercials from around the country. That same commercial gets used at other Chevy dealers because, of course, it was like a Chevy song that they gave to their dealership. It's real weird to hear a San Antonio place have different lyrics for it because in Pittsburgh, like that song's like part of the fabric of, of this area.
Minutes from the mall.
Yeah, and there's no mall there anymore.
I know. Whoops.
There was the SCTV took a Henry Mancini song, I think called "Soldier in the Rain" or something, and they gave it to like Lola Heatherton for her torch song, and they wrote these lyrics for her, and so now I can never hear the instrumental without thinking of Lola Heatherton saying like, "I wake up every night in bed and panic thinking that I'm dead."
My wife never watched SCTV, so I always say SCTV stuff all the time, and she's like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, sorry. I'm always being Jackie Rogers Jr. around the house. I'm like, "This is for my daddy." And then just he was killed by a tiger when he filmed the TV special.
Oh yeah. Well, he was doing up close, like Jackie Rogers, like up close with Mother Nature or whatever, and like this puma jumps out of nowhere and like attacks him.
I think he was singing "Born Free" in a tree, and a puma took him out of the tree. Oh man, that show! It's perfect. Like one of the best things ever.
Yeah. I liked how layered their parodies were. Like they'd be like, "Hey, let's do a parody of, the Andy Griffith Show, but let's make it Merv Griffin instead of Andy Griffith. And then let's halfway through turn it into a 2001 A Space Odyssey parody." And yeah.
Well, the other thing too, that was like, it took me so long as a kid to realize that Count Floyd's Floyd Cannonball, that they're, that they're the same person.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, that totally makes sense. And then it's like, that's why he's an alcoholic, because he has to deal with Eugene Levy's character and he has to deal with all the work he does there.
And it's Camembert.
And I love that there's just weird characters like the guy with the snake on his face that owns the porn store in town. And it's like, what? And it's like, but then eventually like all these characters start to weirdly interact with each other where you'll have like John Candy playing 5 people in a sketch, and it's like,
Oh,
how did they do
I
this?
love those ones like the Golden Global Choice Awards or the Towering Inferno parody where they all sort of converge on one location and like interact. They'll always have like the SCTV staff party or something. Like those are fun.
Yeah. There's the one that's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers where everybody gets cabbage on the back of their heads.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
They did a big they did a SCTV marathon when I was a kid on the local like PBS channel, and I just tape recorded like it was like 24 hours of SCTV, and you could just watch it. Like sometimes I do it to make the time go by. I'd be like, it's 3 days till Christmas. I can watch each SCTV tape twice or something.
The half-price books when they first opened here had the box sets for $5, so I bought all of them on DVD, and it's like a purchase that has repaid me so many times.
Oh yeah.
Look, the Amber Ridge Massacre.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike Justice's new film you can find on YouTube.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it.
It's crazy.
It's kind of like when they would come out with like, what was that movie about the Pope? Like something about the mafia movies,
Gone with the Pope.
Gone with the Pope. It's like Gone with the Pope. It's like it was clearly shot in 1995, but it's just coming out now.
I love the idea of Gone with the Pope, that if every Catholic gives them $1, that and they can all afford $1, then they'll give them the Pope back.
Right.
What's crazy is the guy who made those is he's the voice of the singing voice of Fred Flintstone. Like, how weird is that?
Fred Flintstone had a singing voice?
Yeah, in the Secret Agent Fred one. Yeah,
he sure did.
He's also in Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla too. He's the Dean Martin in those.
Is it an actual gorilla that he meets in that movie, or is it okay?
It's someone in a suit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they could not afford that a gorilla. I mean, they could have, and they would have just let it run wild and kill somebody. But yeah, they could not afford it.
I don't trust primates.
No,
they'll eat your face.
I saw Nope, and like that scene in Nope. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works.
That's the real Nope of the movie for me, not the monster.
Yeah. That scene's awesome where it's just like, oh wow, like it's just kind of like a throwaway thing in it, but I love that part.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I think you would dig it. It's interesting.
Oh wow, yeah. It's really good, I think. The only thing I didn't like about it is I really don't like the two leads.
No, but
I think they're really like unpleasant people.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like the story though, and I like the way the monster looks. It's like different than anything you would expect.
I think I liked Get Out. I thought Us made my head hurt. There was too much plot.
I love it. I think it's really good.
Yeah,
there's so much plot. I was just like, oh my god, like this. I can't keep up.
There's a couple really harrowing scenes in it though, like the idea that the little boy, his alternate side is just crazy by comparison. Do you know what I mean? Like how he's like just playing with fire and his face is all burned. Like it's like wild, like his alternate side.
Yeah. I think what it was it was advertised. I thought it was going to be a kind of like a movie like The Strangers, or like a movie about a family sort of under siege from lookalikes.
Yeah.
But then it was like there was all this like plot about like I don't know. It's like I was having a hard time. And then the Hands Across America angle.
Yeah. Well, I love that because I was always freaked out by Hands Across America. I'm like, why are they?
Me too. I thought it was really weird, and that was very, I didn't realize I had that fear until Jordan Peele showed me.
And the song of Hands Across America will get stuck in your head. It's like, what? That's back then where they're like, you know what? Let's just write a song for this, and that'll fix it.
Yeah. Now, what was this? So, when I was a kid, of course, I always pictured that it was literally like one big long broken chain. But then they said that like it wasn't actually. It was more of like a symbolic thing where they would have like miles and miles of people holding hands in different areas, and it wasn't like one long chain across the country.
They did it in my town where like everybody would line up, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
because then that would mean I'd have to leave my bedroom and my horror mags and comics and stuff and go leave. And I don't like that.
No,
I remember like every year, the day after Thanksgiving was our Christmas parade, and And that's the day the WOR showed Godzilla movies. And I remember saying to my mom, I don't care about Christmas. I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want to watch Godzilla. And really, has anything changed? No, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
That was the best day. Like that's why I looked forward to Thanksgiving because of the King Kong movies. And then Friday you got Godzilla.
Yeah. My day was up and down because like King Kong, super excited, sad at the end, and end of Son of Kong, miserable depression. And then Mighty Joe Young, back up, time to eat turkey. A great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. A whirlwind of emotions for 5-year-old Sam.
Happy ending.
Yeah. The best. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because as a guy, at least now it's not because I have to cook, but as a male child, like I had no responsibilities. My responsibilities were to eat, sleep, and watch football. It's like, yes, I can do all these things quite well. Yeah. But now the phone calls start at like 5 a.m. Like, what time are we going to eat? And it's like, there's only 4 of us. Like this is ridiculous. Like, let's chill out. I say every year I have a talk. I bring everybody together. And I say, look, I know we're going to get crazy tomorrow, but there's only 4 of us. And we've all had turkey before. Like if it's not right, it doesn't matter. And of course, then the calls start. I just get grumpier and grumpier as the day goes on. But anywho,
yeah, I kind of like holidays like where you can drink during the day and get away with it.
Oh yeah,
because it's I think like my favorite holiday is Halloween, not the actual day of Halloween, but just the whole season and the whole leading up to it and all the nostalgia involved and everything. The winter holidays, like I appreciate the time off from work, but I'm not crazy about Thanksgiving or Christmas.
I've come to love New Year's Eve because that's when Bill and I get together and just ignore an entire room of people and just watch music videos together.
Well, yeah, because
that's our annual tradition.
Well, yeah, because Becca always brings those mean gay men.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Bill and I just hide for a lot of it. We just like go downstairs and look at movies, and then and then we just eventually get high or drunk and then just come upstairs and are affable.
That's the way you affable perverts. That's the way you should spend New Year's Eve. Yeah. I love New Year's Eve and nobody else likes it. Everybody I know hates New Year's Eve, like the people who are closest to me. So I'm always excited that there's a place to go on New Year's Eve, Sam's house.
Yeah. One year we watched The Hearse because my father-in-law was like, let's watch this. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like a party movie, but we watched The Hearse for New Year's Eve. So
I think New Year's is fun because it's like the first time you're spending time with your friends. Like it's always sort of understood, like if you have to go home for Christmas, you'll go home for Christmas. But if you can be back in time for New Year's, that's like New Year's is like for like you have with your, it's not, nobody hangs out with their family on New Year's, like generally.
My mother-in-law brought her hearing aids at the start of the party and she said, I don't know how these work. Can you set them up for me? And I was like, do you know how drunk I am right now? It was like 5 p.m. She's like, are you already drinking? I'm like, it's New Year's. I guess this is what you do. Like I'm drinking. And then, so yeah, I'm trying to do these hearing aids and I'm like, are these charged? No. I'm like, well, so I had to learn how to charge them. I'm watching these YouTube videos. Everybody else is like eating food. And I'm like, I got to finish this before Bill gets here. It's like, let's just, no, it's good. I wanted to get it done. I don't want to do hearing aid. What's my choice? Hang out with one of my best friends or fix hearing aids? I don't know. What should I do?
Hearing aids.
Now she doesn't wear them. So like now I'll tell this story. I don't care. Becca took her to get her eyes looked at on Friday and how they dilate your pupils. So she wanted to go shopping afterwards, but couldn't see anything because she got her pupils dilated and she can't hear anything because she won't wear her hearing aids. So she got lost in Target because the bathroom wasn't being worked, it was being cleaned. So she had to go back to like the unisex bathroom and Becca couldn't find her anywhere in the store. So then she just heard her going, Becca, and just yelling for her. So she had to find her. One time I took her shopping and I let her go for 5 minutes. I said, because I ran into one of my friends and I said, hey, I haven't seen my friend in a while. I'm going to talk to him for a minute. Okay, well, I'll wait for you in the front of the store. She couldn't spend it more than 2 minutes. She went to the manager's desk and called me. And it said, Sam Panico, your mother-in-law is waiting for you at the service. And my friend looked at me. It was the day before I got married. And he looked at me and he's like, how mad are you right now? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking enraged. Bill knows her this. And Bill's like, yeah, that story totally makes sense. I love her. Wait,
so that's who you spend Well, you said there's 4 of you on Thanksgiving. It's you and Becca and who?
And her brother and me. Yeah, that's
Okay.
usually who it is. And then I go see my mom and brother the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, her mom makes like so much food. And there's just us. And it's like, also her brother gets hurt every year the day before. And he's a chef too, but he blew up the stove one year. Or he was cooking something and he left the stove on and his mom didn't shut it off. And the oil went shooting straight up. And his first instinct was to throw it in the sink, which is not what you should do.
No.
And it blew up and it took all the skin off his hand. So I had to take him to the emergency room because he wouldn't go. So finally I had to be the dad and be like, well, you don't have any flesh in your hand. So he'll take the Incredible Melting Man. So I'm like, hey, let's go.
Ow, what does his hand look like now?
It got fixed. He got some surgery on it. So
Okay.
yeah, he was also super high. So it was like, oh, look at my hand. I was like, cool. Like we're going to the hospital.
Oh my God.
It's a lot easier now that he's married. His wife sets him straight a lot. So that helps a lot.
You know, that's one of the reasons why in horror movies and stuff, when like the killer gets like burned and they're still coming after the person. And I'm like, you know, I've like splattered grease on my hand making turkey burgers and like I couldn't do anything for like 2 days. Like there's no way in hell you're going to get a 3rd-degree burn and just be like, roar.
Yeah.
That fucking hurts.
I don't get it. The other thing, there's 2 things I don't get in movies. Either one, like in our first movie tonight, the girl got stabbed in the leg with that giant stick, right? And pulled it out and walked back. Like that would incapacitate you for a long time. But then also, I've been watching a lot of Shaw Brothers movies, and I love when people get hit with one punch and instantly die in fight scenes. Or they get hit with like one shot and they're like,
well, she was hypnotized, you see.
Yeah.
So even though she may have been in agonizing pain, she still kept walking because she was hypnotized.
Not only could she not walk when she wasn't hypnotized, once she was hypnotized, you could stab her in the leg and she could keep on walking.
She only thought she couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Because it was just some very complicated thing that her shrink understood somehow.
I felt bad for Claude because like, what was this? Like first her boyfriend gets shot. Then she comes home and finds her sister and the nurse dead. Then she has to be present when the doctor confesses, and then she goes into his lair and finds his like dead daughter on the bed. It's like she's just like it was like tragedy. Yeah,
I like when he said to her, he's like, maybe you can move away from here and find another man to help you get over this. And I was thinking, like, you're a fucking psychologist, like or psychiatrist, like, and that's what you think's going to get her over it?
Yeah, go get a haircut or something. Get a new outfit. Don't
mansplain this to her. Like it's going to take a long time for her to get over this, and if ever, like her sister went crazy and killed somebody or was killed.
And even if we were just speaking purely of her own like romantic needs, like clearly if you know men were that plentiful, they weren't that plentiful before, so it's not gonna.
The hottest guy she's found is Paul Naschy. Like this is it. This is what she found.
Jennifer Upton says she thinks of him as like John Belushi or
Paul Naschy.
Yeah, she thought it was John Belushi. She said in that.
How did they make such a sophisticated hand for her too? Like she was able to do a lot with that hand. Like she was able to grip stuff and like cut stuff with it.
Yeah. Well, and then they also said like he's like, do you want to do something about this hand? They've made great strides in the realm of prostheses, and she's like, no, it's fine. I want to suffer. I'm going to be a martyr with my ugly metal.
She liked
hand.
it. But she had an attitude about it too. Like she was like, oh yeah, you probably don't like me because of my hand.
Right.
Let's talk about my hand.
Well, you see, the thing is, so like somebody like her, right? Like she could blame the hand was a way for her to never have to take personal responsibility for why she might be like pushing men away. So she'd always be like, oh, well, you know, it's the hand, right? So if she got her hand fixed, she'd have to face facts that maybe like her personality sucked. So that's why she didn't want to get it done.
Yeah. She was just rude to somebody on a date, and she's like, he just kept looking at my hand. Well, yes, because you have a giant hand and a burned up, like, and you didn't tell him. Like, you got to tell people, like, hey, just so you know, I've had some hand trauma, but that hasn't changed who I am. But it totally has. And
my friend was dating a girl who had that, like, she had something wrong with her hand. and her name, and he like nicknamed her the Hand.
Oh,
and he would just call her the Hand. Not to her face, obviously, but I was like,
obviously.
Or her name was Hannah, and he called her Handa or something.
Dude, so this is horrible, but we've already gone this far. My ex-wife she was always friends with her ex-boyfriends, and like she had one ex-boyfriend that had like one regular hand and his other hand was like lobster boy, like he had like a crab claw kind of thing. And he was helping us move one time, and the whole time I'm carrying something, my brother's ahead of me going like this the whole time, like a crab claw. And I'm like, don't make me drop this with him. And he's like, when they dated, do you think he fingered her with that? And I'm like, don't fucking say that. I don't want to even think about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I guess, right? You'd have to. If it's the dominant hand.
I know.
Yeah, it's like Nashi. Like if this was like had an insert, he'd be like kissing the hand, and then she'd be like caressing him with that wooden hand.
Oh my God! Do you think she used the hand like earlier to like smash a bird's nest or something? So it's kind of a strong hand too.
He's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all because he was like, don't kill any more birds. It reminds me of that time I strangled and raped that person, and that's just too much for me to have to remember. Like,
why are you putting me on the spot?
Isn't that weird that like your hero in this movie is a rapist?
Yeah,
and the other people are like, oh man, there's a lot in here. I really think that we should make a sequel where she fights the hand, though. I think. From Demonoid, like, because she's the perfect person to battle. The hand wants to be part of her. She's like, no, I can't. I've had this fake hand for so long.
See, the thing is, it's like we need to combine all this stuff because it's like we couldn't necessarily find funding for Tintorera 2. But if we also simultaneously did like a sequel to Demonoid and then the House of Psychotic Women and just like mix it all up, and just be like, okay, it's like an all-stars, kind of like the Avengers or something. It's like just get everybody under one
or a monster rally.
Yeah.
Like, who's your audience for this movie? I'm like, well, Mike and I are the audience for the movie. We're probably the only people that care about it. And maybe one or two other people. And they're like, oh, okay, well, how much money do you think this will make? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll go see it.
Yeah, we'll go see it a couple times.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to make it? Yeah, but we'll go see it.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like, honestly, like the more popular something is, it's always, you just have to have low hanging fruit. Like these esoteric, like things that we're making would never make money. We just have to do, I don't know, a reality show about like angry housewives yelling at each other, and then that would be our ticket out of the ghetto.
Which, like, this movie is the Silence of the Lambs of 2025. Do you know what I mean? And that's how we'll sell it. Like, oh yes, please. We need more of those.
Yeah, first Silence of the Lambs, then Seven, then Zodiac, and now Tintorera 2, Demonoid Express.
Can you also make it body of evidence too somehow?
Yes.
I could get the shot. The Portland. I have access. I know where all those like sets. Where all the locations were and stuff. So yeah, I could get the B-roll for the body of evidence sequel.
And don't ask Madonna to be in it. Just hire somebody that looks like her.
Well, she's dead, though.
Well, find a way to bring her back.
Right.
Yeah. That's when we make Basic Instinct 3. And, I don't know what title it'll have. It needs like a secondary title, like the second.
So one thing that I used to do that was really, I thought it was really fun was I would make up fake titles for 90s thrillers by just going to the thesaurus and typing in Basic Instinct. And so you'd get like fundamental compulsion, elementary predisposition, like, and it's, so like you could just do like Basic Instinct 3, Jeopardy dependence or something.
There's how many? There's
Basic
6.
Instinct 3.
There's like 6 body chemistry movies, so they did the same thing where they were like they would just throw another name at the end of it. I was just writing about that on the site. There was the video store had like, the adult section, and then it had the adult wall that you didn't have to go back beyond the curtain. And you're still, people might look at you kind of funny, but it's like, oh, well, those are, you have to be 18 to rent. You have to be 18 to rent porn and 18 to rent do you know what I mean? The sexual thrillers.
Yeah.
And it's like, but community wise, you can still show your face if you rent like a Gregory Dark softcore movie versus a hardcore movie.
It's funny. I've always been sort of prudish and about going into the porn room at the video store. And for whatever reason, the video store had HOTS in there.
Really?
And I was like, HOTS is R-rated. Like, this is not porn. And they're like, oh, well, you know, it's already been cataloged there, so that's where we have to have it. And I'm like, but I want to rent HOTS, but I don't want to go in that room because people will think I'm looking at porn. So I was like trying to reach over the door, trying to get HOTS without actually going in there.
How shy you were.
Heads Together and Squirrel Hill had saloon doors. And when you walked in, they were so fucking loud. It was like, blang!
Yeah.
it was like a new cowboy's in town.
Oh my God.
And then everybody, and you didn't know who was beyond that door either, right? Beyond the door, who was on the other side of the door. So you'd walk in, and all of a sudden there's this like, it's always like when you turn the light on too quick and everybody's like, oh, that's what it was like. People are like, what are you doing here? Yeah. It was uncomfortable, frightening. You had to like stalk it out.
You could see the legs under the door, and you could tell whether they were looking at the gay movies based on which direction the legs went.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One time I was in a West Coast video, and this is when I was again married the first time, and because that's how long ago video stores were, and a couple asked me what they should rent, and they brought up like really one of like the roughest movies. And like, should I rent this? And I said to the husband, I said, do you ever want to do this again? And he's like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, cool, don't rent this. Like here, like like just go outside and rent like something nice. That you don't bring a Buttman movie home for your wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she's into it. I don't know.
Porn concierge. That's
that's and I was so happy. So happy. I said, I help people. Like I help married people. I feel like I did something positive.
Oh my God. You're like when Dirk Diggler is giving that like cokey interview in Boogie Nights, and he's like, you know, people bring their wives to like, you know, if I can help them get off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess a lot of that's taken from Exhausted, the John Holmes movie. Like he like watched that so many times that like he took like whole scenes of dialogue from it.
Well, you know, it's funny because I don't know what John C. Reilly and Mark Wahlberg's drug history is like, but they nailed being like on speed or on coke, just the way that they like talk about literally nothing. And it was really gave me horrible shivers of recognition. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, me too. It was like, oh, it was making me remember all the people that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
When I was DJing.
Oh, look at this ad, Bill. Wow. The Hatchet Murders.
It wasn't the Hatchet Murders yet.
I know, but I only refer to it as the Hatchet Murders from now on.
As well you should, with From Beyond the Grave, which was often just Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
And eventually it became retitled as Creatures from Beyond the Grave.
Ooh.
Then it was just The Creatures.
Wow.
In fact, George showed this at the drive-in years ago, and the title card was The Creatures. I was really excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Were you at that? I guess you weren't at that.
No, I wasn't at that one. I would be going nuts.
There was also, they showed Asylum, and it was House of Crazies was the title card.
Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine.
Well, anyway, they were comparing it to Psycho, The Exorcist, and Jaws.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on.
From Beyond the Grave?
No,
Deep Red.
Deep Red. Yeah, wow.
I mean, I like it. It's certainly not scarier than Jaws.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of thing, you know. It's great.
It really needs that. You know what that ad needs to push it over the top? That fake Alfred Hitchcock quote. It needs to have that in a little box.
Did you ever make a film as terrifying as Deep Red?
Well, that one where he's like, frankly, that Argento boy is frightening me. That's my favorite.
Oh, right.
It was
he never said that. Never. He never said it.
When would he have said that? He died in like 1976.
I know. Like he never said it.
No, Hitchcock died in like, did he really? 80, yeah.
Let me look.
Really?
I guess it would have been. I guess it would have been when Bird with the Crystal Plumage came out, and it would have been like in Elvira. They would have been like, "Hey, Dario, you've got some competition," and he's like, "Trash does not compete with class."
1980, he died.
Okay.
April 29th.
Okay, I was just thinking that because Family Plot was his last movie, and that was in '76. I thought he died while he was making that.
Yeah, it's funny though that like why would he say that and like give him any hype? Do you know what I mean? Like
it's just stupid.
Oh,
yeah. I go to Movie Madness too. That's where Jenny just talking about Movie Madness. That's where they kept HOTS in the porn room, and I didn't want to go in. And I don't think they have a porn room anymore. They've redone the store, and like now they just have like a card file you can look through for porn or something.
They don't have the book for you. That's the most terrifying, where it's like, hey, look at this giant book. Though, Bill, I heard a rumor from one of my friends that someone that worked at Primetime Video in my hometown, when he quit working there, he stole the book, and he still has the book.
You've got to get the book.
I got to get the book, right? And like, I'm gonna say to Becca, she's like, why do you have this book full of mimeographed old porn covers? I'm like, do you realize the occult energy that's inside this book? It may as well be the Necronomicon Daviticus. Like, I could probably raise the dead with it. Like
a Nurse Sherri type thing.
Yeah, there has to be so much energy in it. And like, I would show it to my mom. I'd be like, look what I got. I got the book from Primetime.
You'd show your mom the book?
I would tell her I had it, and she'd be like, why do you want that? And I'd be like, it's the book from Primetime Video.
I hate when people are like, why do you like, yeah, it's just like, trust me.
Yeah. My dream is they used to have a carpet when you walked in that had their logo, which was like 2 movie tickets and a popcorn bucket that had the logo. And it was a carpet when you went in. I'm sure that carpet's long gone. But to own that carpet from my mom and pop store, could you imagine?
You know, I think you're going to have to do like, you're sort of similarly interested in like getting a Canon Theaters carpet square, but we don't even know if they had the logo on there. So I think what you're going to end up having to do at some point is just get your own, like go to a carpet place and take them the Canon logo and just get it made and just pretend, and then you can surprise yourself, like make this for you and then just and then get it and be like, oh, look what I found in the wild.
I've debated turning my basement into my own video store where it's like, whatever, I'll come up with a name, Cubby's Video or something.
Oh, I've seen so many things like that on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Carrie, Asylum of Satan, and Bloody Pit of Horror. What a night.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting.
How old was Bloody Pit by that point?
I think that's 68.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway.
Wow. Is that the one with Mickey Hargitay?
Yeah. He has a mask on in it. Severn put it out. It's great.
Asylum of Satan is one of Bill Girdler's first films.
And you know who was the technical advisor on that movie, Bill?
Would it be Anton LaVey?
It would. You know how much better would Nurse Sherri been if they had only hired Anton LaVey and said, could you be the technical advisor? And he's like, first off, we don't need voodoo. And more blonde women, please. This is
right.
There's something wrong with your movie.
It would have been it would have been a more serious film than Nurse Sherri was.
So Nurse Sherri was just killing everybody because she was pissed, or she was killing everybody because the guy feels like they let him down and couldn't save him from death or whatever.
Yeah. It was a Fives kind of thing, Dr. Fives.
Right.
Except it was totally self-centered because it wasn't his wife that he was worried about. It was him.
Yeah. I don't know. It was funny. I was having trouble following Nurse Sherri because I was like, it kept cutting back and forth between like the possession storyline and then like this budding love affair and then like these weird like sex scenes. And I was having a hard time figuring out which direction the movie was going to go in. I need to watch it again. I need to watch it like twice, knowing it.
Oh, Bill, this just came out on UHD, the Devil Times 5 from Vinegar Syndrome.
That's what I've been dying to have.
Yeah.
Devil Times 5 on UHD.
Well, or as we should refer to it, what's it? Puppet People?
People Toys.
People Toys. I mean, yeah, People Toys.
I like Horrible House on the Hill.
I was just going to say Horrible House on the Hill is another good one, too.
I think that's actually the title card that's cut in. I'm not sure.
Oh, Nice. I love that logo. That's such a weird movie too.
But hello, 2000 Maniacs.
Yeah.
And Daughters of Satan too.
Good night.
Is Daughters of Satan the Tom Selleck movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck or Tom Skerritt?
Tom Selleck.
Tom
isn't
Selleck.
Isn't it like Filipino or something in the Philippines? And it's
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only I could verify that on a.
Because I remember I always used to get it mixed up with the Thirsty Dead.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, Tom Selleck, John Considine, they're sort of the same.
Yeah, Tom Selleck.
Dr. Death himself.
Tom Selleck, Vic Diaz, and Barra Grant and Tana Guthrie. In Hollingwood's Morse is the director. Yeah, shot in the Philippines. Ooh.
Look what it was playing with. At the Westdale Plaza there at the bottom.
Oh my God. Messiah of Evil.
Of Evil.
Oh man. What a double feature.
Race with the Devil.
Oh yeah, with Carrie. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I worked at Tower Records and I worked in the video store and we could only play G and PG rated movies. I think I told the story. And so I would always play Race with the Devil because if anybody got upset about like the nudity or the whatever, I'd be like, well, it's PG. So I'd always try to find like the dirtiest 70s PG movies and play in the video store.
I got upset about the dead dog
in
Race with the Devil. That was like one of the first movies I ever saw where the dog died.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, is it really dead? And my mom was like, no, it's not.
Well, that Showplace Theaters logo is amazing. With that type, with that, look how crazy that is. That's
beautiful.
Total stoner metal art. It's kind of Shaw Brothers looking too. The Showplace looks a lot like the Shaw Brothers logo.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's doing like a CinemaScope thing. Yeah.
Shawscope.
Shawscope.
Did anyone mention that Jaws is subtitled in Espanol?
No, but muy bueno.
See. Earthquake 2, I hope. There was that movie just mostly had a bunch of screaming. You don't have to subtitle this.
Yeah, it's just like the whole time.
I've seen it twice in Sense-Around. It was amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you see it in Sense-Around?
At the Egyptian Theater in LA and Hollywood. So they actually had they actually went and got the old giant speakers to do that, and they bring them out and stuff, and it was fun. Like, yeah, the building was shaking. I mean, it was a little primitive compared to today's showmanship or whatever, but it was fun to watch it. Twice. The second time I went to see it, though, they said they needed 4 Sense-Around speakers and they could only find 3 or something, and so it was missing one, and I was like, oh well, it's probably not going to be as good, but it was still fun.
Sense-Around is sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
They also showed, I didn't go see it, but they also showed Roller Coaster.
Ooh.
In Sense-Around, but I didn't. I was just like, I think I was broke. I was like, I'm only paying for an Earthquake.
I wonder if they ever showed Tentacles in Rumble Sound.
Ooh.
Tentacles.
Remember? It was the Japanese program had that in the back. It was presented in Rumble Sound.
I'm glad you pointed out, Mike, that we do refer to the creature in tentacles by his or her given name of just tentacles.
Well, it's funny because it's like it's how people will say like, "Ooh, that the scene where Jaws gets her?" Or like, remember that scene where Jaws does this, and you're like, "Yeah," and then Tentacles is going after these people, and Tentacles does this, and I'm like, "Wait, that's his name too."
Tentacles.
His name is Tentacles. Yeah, because his name should be Arms because he doesn't have tentacles.
Is that what? So is that true that like octopuses don't have they don't call them tentacles or whatever?
No, they call them arms.
Okay. A tentacle is an elongated appendage, but it only has suckers at the tip of it. And squid have 2. And squid also have a number of arms. That's like what has the sucker on it, is the long appendage that it's full of suckers. That's an arm. not a tentacle. So an octopus has none.
I was terrified of octopuses because of the ending of Popeye. When that octopus attacks her, and it was so creepy and everything, and so like
I didn't know you were afraid of octopuses.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not I'm as afraid of octopuses as I am of like raccoons, where like I don't have nightmares about them, but I wouldn't want to get up close to one.
I love octopuses. They're not aggressive at all. They're terrified of people. Although if you're chill about it, they'll come like check you out and like put their tentacles all over you and feel you. Ooh.
I don't like them too because I've heard that they're super smart. Like I'm like I don't know like if I could deal with like that, a sentient being that's that weird looking.
Yeah. I think I remember reading that they have the same, like they only live a couple of years, but I think they live 2 years, and they have almost like the same mental abilities as a 2-year-old child.
Oh, wow.
But when they die. So, could you imagine, like if they lived 50 years, what would we be dealing with?
Why is their lifespan so short? I mean, it could it live longer if you gave it an environment with no predators and.
I don't know. No, I mean, I think even under the best conditions, they don't live. Even in captivity, they probably have a shorter life expectancy because there's nothing for them to do. They're just like hanging out in a tank. That's pretty boring when you're smart. Like the killer whales, that go crazy because you're just like keeping them pinned up.
You call
an octopus.
They call them killers in the streets. We did learn that also from Tentacles, but don't put that name on them.
They called Bo Hopkins that too.
Yeah,
I never liked the way even like octopus tastes. Like it's always kind of confusing. I'm always like, I wonder who the first person to eat octopus was, because the only reason I ever ate it was because people told me that it was edible, and I was like, no, I don't. Yeah, it's too chewy and
you have to get it really, really right. I've had sashimi, octopus sashimi that was really good, but the cooked octopus was always chewy. So because we live in Pittsburgh, what are you going to get here in Pittsburgh in terms of octopus?
I love this ad, Bill, by the way.
I know you love this ad. That's why I pulled this out just for you.
The thing is, like, if you take the comedy parts out of this movie, it's really good. But the goofy comedy parts upset me. But the murder scenes and stuff are really harrowing. Like it's got some really scary parts in it.
It's got some really sadistic murders, and then the next scene will be like, oh, the cops have to put on wigs and pretend to be ladies.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? I don't know. But yeah, I do love, and especially the look of the killer is amazing. It's just such a cool, just the whole look of this movie is awesome.
It's a terrible disguise because you can't see out of it.
Yeah, but he makes it work. He or she makes it work.
Yeah, we never really found out, did we?
No.
Did you like the remake / sequel?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good, and I liked that it brought in elements of Charles Pierce's being a character kind of in it, where he made the movie. It was wild. Like it was really interesting. Yeah, the guy who directed it did The Fault in Our Stars too. Yeah, and then he did. He shoots a lot of American Horror Story stuff too.
Yeah, his episodes were good.
Yeah, but that movie looks great. Especially the scene where the girl in it, when she first gets attacked, she comes out from underneath the drive-in screen when she's like struggling to get away from the killer, and all the people are watching the movie, and the same thing's happening on the screen. That shot's awesome. Like it's got some really cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
And the kills in it are just
like a Ray Dennis Steckler moment.
Oh my God, if only, right? I think about that all the time of like how amazing it would be to be there for one of those things, to have people just run out wearing a cash flag mask.
See,
come on.
I would love to go to one of those like screenings of The Town That Dreaded Sundown. The only problem is that like there's zero other reason to go to Texarkana.
Yeah.
And I usually like to combine, like, even if it, it's like, I can't just go somewhere for like that. Like I would have to also want to check out the town or something. And it's like, It's really far off the beaten path just for like one screaming.
Well, I guess you could Boggy Creek too while you're there.
Yes.
Double it up.
There's other stuff to do.
Let's go meet the Fook monster. Oh, wow.
Oh, we have to guess what this is.
That's in the.
Audrey Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love
See Rocky before and after the preview.
Huh.
Really? See why? Like it's just this. Oh, because it's the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Yeah. I was like, they're gonna show Rocky and then a trailer and then Rocky again.
It's the preview.
I mean, that's what they did with Meet Joe Black, right? Because the Star Wars trailer played. People went just to see that.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? That was like the big selling point.
Right.
It was like, see the prequels trailer. Look where we got from that. Oh, Julie Christie in the Demon Seed.
Another sneak preview.
I've never seen this movie, Bill. Can you believe that? I mean, this seems like a movie that I would love, right?
Oh, I was just going to say something spoilerish. I guess I shouldn't.
No, but it does seem like a movie I would like, huh?
Well, the only thing I'll say is poor Garrett Graham.
Oh, poor Garrett Graham. Who will be in our first movie next week.
Yes. I love a Garrett Graham movie.
Mm-hmm. Beef.
Bud the Chud.
Bud the Chud, yes.
Incredible Shrinking Woman.
He's
or
in
no,
so
wait,
much
was that the other guy?
That's the other guy.
Oh,
Garrett Graham
Mark
was in
Blankfield.
Yeah.
Garrett Graham was in National Lampoon's Class Reunion.
Yeah.
He played like the yuppie.
He's in isn't he in he's in Terror Vision too, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He's one of the swingers, I think. Or is he the dad? He's in it. I know that.
It's weird though that he and Mark Blankfield are kind of it's like Bill Pullman and Greg Kinnear. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just like, which one is which?
They're very similar.
You know.
This one does not shy away from the fact that you're about to see real freaks in a movie.
Right.
Oh, I love this movie. I really do. I know it's absolute junk, but I love it.
There's something really. Junk. I think it's because it's Michael Winner made it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's something about his sort of high-pitched storytelling. It's like even something like Scream for Help is so watchable just because it's like, you know what, like a difficult, miserable, screaming, angry British man he was and how everyone worked it. Like that's how he tells. Yeah. One of the actors from Scream for Help, like, got on my Instagram once and was like giving me hell because I posted something about Ralph Nader and he's like, Ralph Nader made us lose the election. And I was like, get your politic crap out of here. I'm going to feed you to the ghost of Michael Winner.
Yeah.
This ad says it's the gate of Satan instead of the gate of hell. I think that's why I saved it.
Wow. I really wish they had made there's a book sequel to the Sentinel, and I wish they had made the movie of it. We should have had a whole bunch of Sentinels.
What happens in the sequel?
She suddenly can no longer be the Sentinel, so they have to find another one where the apocalypse happens.
What happens to her?
I think it's when she ages out of it. It's like in the future a little bit.
Oh.
I love the idea that they were just like, oh shit, we made a mistake. You're not qualified.
Yeah. We went a little too quick. Yeah, go figure the Catholic Church screws up something with women in it.
Hey, Wally.
Oh, Wally.
Hello there.
Oh my God.
Say something.
He's like, I just did.
You want to see what came in the mail this week, Bill?
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. I finally broke down and bought this, Bill. I finally got the Herschel Gordon Lewis set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was $35. How can you go wrong? Right? So I got that.
That's beautiful.
I have no taste. Let's get that across before we see what movies I bought this week. Glenn Danzig's Death Rider in the House of Vampires. Holy shit.
No shame.
No shame whatsoever. He plays Bat Bathory in that one. My Severin order came in, so I'm super jazzed. We got The Mummy and the Curse of the Jackals. which I've been waiting
Ooh.
forever for. And they found the print of this buried in a lab in LA. And originally there was only the VHS edit of it. So super excited to watch that. And of course, how can you go wrong with this beautiful opera set?
Oh, wow.
Right? So excited.
Ooh.
And I got some older stuff too mixed in. I got the Video Nasties set that I didn't have of the trailers, which is pretty cool. And how did I not own this movie, She Killed in Ecstasy? I don't know why I didn't own it. So I got it. It was $5 in the sale. Come on.
I feel like you probably just thought you had it already.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got the Argento deep cuts set of all his TV stuff, which is really cool. I watched everything in it earlier, but it's really worth it.
Are they good? Like, is that what, like Door to Silence or something was like the?
No, they're all like 2-minute movies that he did with just to test out effects.
Oh.
And then the second part of it is all behind the scenes stuff. There's a really cool part where he's actually instructed Goblin how to do the music for Suspiria. And I got this Klaus Kinski pen that I showed you guys that has a disappearing Klaus Kinski.
I think some of that behind the scenes stuff of the Suspiria thing had also been used in that first documentary, The World of Horror.
Yeah. But Becca also wanted me to show what she bought for me. She found this at TJ Maxx. It's Halloween Man.
What?
Yeah, it's a perfume, and it says, "Beware of yourself." So she said I should put it on before the show. Yeah, so it's what does Halloween smell like? You might wonder. I'm the Halloween Man. So let's see. Oh.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I put it on like Bronson put on Mandem.
You know what's funny is when you opened the box, your cat like rolled over and like yawned and smiled. I think he thought it was you're gonna give him something.
Yeah, she's like, no, that's good.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, watch the Japanese commercial from Mandem. It was a cologne there. They still sell it there, but Bronson's in it, and it's shot by the same director that made Hausu. And it's the wildest commercial. And when Bronson puts on cologne, he literally just throws it all over himself like this. And he must use the whole bottle. And he looks super leathery in the commercial. It's great. I love it. And the song's great. But all my friends, I have a bunch of friends in Japan when I wrestled there, and I would talk about how much I like Charles Bronson. They're like, oh, the Cologne Man. And I was like, no, he's an actor. And they're like, what? Like, he's an actor? And I'm like, yeah, he's an actor. And they're like, no, he's the Cologne Man. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Fine.
Yeah. And I don't know if I showed this last week or not, but this Terra Firma I got too. And this is the first film by Brian Yunza's new company, Dark Arts.
Oh.
And it's him and the guy that made Zizek's Road. Remember that movie that made no money?
Oh, the movie that made $20 or something.
Yeah. It's that guy too. Like, they started a production company. So Bill, kind of like, how when Fred was on, how he said, oh, these, we should put together a company that puts out movies of, and like, no, he's literally doing it. Like, this guy, it's, they're putting together a new label to try to get movies out. So it's cool.
I remember when Zizek Stories came out and they said that like it was something like 8 people had gone to see it, and 2 of them were people who worked on the movie.
Yeah.
So it was like
that movie is like always amazes me. Like, how did it? I'm sure that's happened with other movies too, but not at that level.
It was, what it was like there was actually like a kind of there was like a logical explanation for it. It was produced to go straight to video, but in order to use SAG actors, they had to call it a theatrical film, and in order to have qualified so they wouldn't get in trouble with the union, it had to be released in a theater. So they just put it in a theater and they didn't advertise it, and so anybody who bought a ticket for it was really just at the theater going like, okay, I'll go see that.
Yeah. It's the same as like a lot of direct-to-video stuff, they would play it for like a week or 2 in theaters. Like Canon did that a lot, where they would just dump stuff in Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
when Robotech the movie played Dallas, Texas, that's the only place it played.
Well, they would use it as a selling point, because I remember I was actually I worked at a video store when I was a teenager, and we would get it would always say, like posters like, you should book this for your, we get the screeners, and they'd be like coming off of a hot theatrical run and stuff. And it was like, they always wanted to say that it had played theaters because that made it seem, I don't know, less like just straight to video or something.
Yeah, where it seemed like, oh, well, it's quality because it played in a theater.
Right. And it would be like hits like the Bill Sachs movie, and they're like, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and just got back from a theatrical engagement. It's like Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it for less than a minute, and it played in one theater in Texas.
Yeah.
It's John Travolta in The Devil's Rain level.
Oh
my God. Travolta. Yeah. I was so hard to recognize him because he's like melting mostly.
Yeah. But he has no eyes.
Yeah.
I got no eyes. He's
It's
doing
my
that
character, man.
You know that meme everybody makes of him in Pulp Fiction just looking around? We should do one of those, but him with like no eyes going. It's stuff for like three of us. Like that Michael Myers video I made. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's just for like one or two people to laugh at. But
this whole show is just for one or two people.
Exactly. It's not.
I'm glad that so many other people come to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And Mike Justice, thank you for being on the show again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's been too long, and the next time, don't make it so long.
It's been since my last birthday, right? Because last time I was on, we did Jaws and Tenebrae. Jaws 3 and Tenebrae.
I don't know. I feel like you've been on since. It has not been a year.
Okay.
Happy birthday, too. Early, but happy birthday.
Yeah, me and Angus Scrim on Monday. Yeah.
You'll be like, you blow out your candles and you miss one and you just hear him go, boy.
I've gotten I'm beyond candles now because there's just too many. Like I'm turning 48 and I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
Beyond candles. That's like an alternate title for Don't Look in the Basement.
Well, you know what it could be, although an alternate title for the Beyond the Door, because the whole beginning is like in that giant room filled with candles.
Yeah. Plus there's a birthday in Beyond the Door. A children's birthday party.
You could do a Demons 2 themed birthday party, Mike, for your birthday.
Right, where I just get to be like, who is that? Oh God, don't ever let him come over again.
There's invited him.
People love her. There's this guy who lives in Portland named Jason, and he paints horror characters and makes like stickers and stuff. And he'll do like the Devil Woman from National Lampoon's Class Reunion and stuff. And one of his favorite people too is whatever her name is from Demon. What is her name?
Sally.
The girl Sally, and like because she's so fucking campy.
Yeah, he's got these sleeves that go back and forth like this. I hate it.
I hate my sleeves. Yeah. It's funny because when she becomes a demon, she only gets slightly crazier.
Yeah.
Like she's already such a lunatic that you almost get the feeling that when she becomes a demon, she likes it because she's like, now I can finally, I can have an excuse to kill everyone.
Yeah, she just has warts and fangs and long claws.
I can tell you definitely that I like Demons 2 way better than Evil Dead Rise. It's much better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I finally watched it and I was like, I don't like this at all. Like I just couldn't get into it.
When I was a kid, I didn't like Demons 2. I've grown to love it over the years though. But I think it was just because it was just so, I mean, Demons wasn't like a huge, like I thought Demons was inferior to Dario Argento movies and stuff. Like I remember when Demons came out, I'm like, oh, well, it's no Creepers. But Demons 2 was like even like, it was like, you make like a Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox, and it's like Demons 2 was like if you made Demons, but it was like half as sensical, even but more badly translated. Like, but I was like, now I love it.
I think Demons is perfect though. Like it's a perfect movie to me because like it never stops. Like once the action starts, like there's no slowdown, and it's just like there's so much stuff in it. Where like you said, the nonsensical nature of it. Like why is the blind guy have his lover or daughter with him?
Yeah.
Why are these people here? Why do people sniff coke out of a can? Like there's all this stupid shit and you're like, yeah, who cares? And then even the credits can't contain it. It keeps going past the credits. Like it's awesome.
I liked there's that one part of Demons where all the women simultaneously have a nervous breakdown at the same time. They go in the room and they're like, there's no way out. And like every woman starts screaming and every man starts shaking. It like just turns to a woman next to him. It's like, snap out of it. But the thing is that Demons actually, there was a great buildup. The way that they introduce you to like the universe of the film, and like the metropole was like always presented very ominously and stuff. And it was really kind of trying hard to be kind of gothic in a lot of ways. And like Demons 2, I felt like just was very sort of like half-assed. Like it was like they kind of was trying to do Cronenberg, but not really. And
it's like a direct-to-video sequel to it. Like it's like but I've come around to really, really loving Demons 2.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better than Boogeyman 2.
It did play theatrically, even in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But like, in really limited markets, because the Demons actually played at the theater. Like it played at Cottingtown Cinemas in Santa Rosa. Like that never got like weird shit like that. So.
Demons played a lot of places, but Demons 2 only played like in Florida and Georgia, I think.
It has the feel, though. Do you know what I mean? Of like a direct-to-video sequel, though. That's kind of
absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a step down from Demons, but I still love it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got its own unique charms.
Mm-hmm. But Demons is awesome. Like there's the scene where they come out of the movie screen and their eyes are glowing. Like, come on, like that's awesome filmmaking. Like that's how you do it. I love it.
Yeah, there's nothing like that in Demons 2. They don't have any cool and also Demons 2, it's so weird how they just drop these plots. Like Ozzy Argento is in a car and like all these demons are trying to get in, and then they're just like roar, and they just turn around and run in the opposite direction, and we like never.
Did they get her? It seemed like they would have gotten her. All they had to do was break through the glass.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine actually watched Demons, and then he was trying to explain it to me. He couldn't remember it, and he remembered like the weirdest shit from it. He's like, "Do you know this horror movie? It's got a really sad ending. Like this woman like turns into a monster, and they shoot her and leave her on the side of the road." And I'm like, "No, I can't think of what you're talking about." And then he's
like, that was his takeaway from it.
Yeah, and then later on, he was like Demons, and I was like, you couldn't say, hey, it's about people in a theater when demons are attacking them. Like I would have guessed right away. Like, why did you pick like these cherry pick these weird random scenes? Because he would also say like, and I think she's a music student. She's a music student who gets shot and dumped on the side of the road. And I'm like, no, a music student. What?
Yeah. That's a wild takeaway. That's like a TV guide. That's like a TV guide synopsis.
Yeah, exactly.
Music student encounters demons and is killed on the side of the road.
Right, and you're like, yeah, well, kind of, but
yeah, you're kind of missing a lot of other stuff. Young teen gang gets in trouble. Helicopter falls through building.
Right. I always say like anytime my next movie, I don't care what it is. I'm just gonna like have a weird swish pan over to like a little hatchback driving through like a traffic circle while it's playing like Go West.
Yeah.
And just throw it in there really quick. And then like you, me, and a couple other people will be like, that's from Demons. But I'm like, I don't care what the genre is. If I'm making a romantic comedy, I'll still do it,
Go check out Mike Justice's new film, The Amber Ridge Massacre, on YouTube. And it's actually Amber Ridge Massacre 1995 would get you right there.
Yeah, if you need a third movie
channel.
That's a good third movie for tonight.
Because it's only like 20 minutes long. It's not asking too much. And thanks again, Mike, for being on the show. It's a lot of fun, always. We hope you'll come back next week for AC Nicholas and 2 space movies, Spaceship and Dark Star, from the DIA. Yeah.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardians. 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.